In the tranquil hills of Mizoram, the village of Lunglei basked in the serenity of its lush green landscapes and the harmony of its people. Among them were Thara and Dini, two souls entwined by love. Thara, a passionate musician, and Dini, an enchanting dancer, shared a bond that seemed unbreakable. Their love story was the talk of the village, a tale of passion and devotion that seemed destined to last forever. However, fate had other plans. One stormy night, as the rain lashed against their small bamboo house, Dini fell gravely ill. Thara did everything in his power to save her, but despite his efforts, Dini's life ebbed away. Her last words to Thara were a haunting whisper, "I will always be with you." Devastated by her loss, Thara spiraled into a deep depression. He couldn't eat, sleep, or play his beloved guitar. The once lively musician became a shadow of his former self, haunted by memories of Dini. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, but Thara's grief showed no signs of abating. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Thara heard a familiar melody drifting through the air. It was the tune Dini used to dance to. Following the sound, he found himself in the forest, where he saw a figure dancing gracefully under the moonlight. It was Dini. She looked as radiant as ever, her eyes sparkling with the same love and warmth he remembered. Thara couldn't believe his eyes. He reached out to her, and she smiled, whispering, "I told you, I will always be with you." From that night on, Dini's spirit would visit Thara, and their love rekindled in a strange, supernatural way. Thara found solace in these nightly visits, but soon, he began to notice that Dini's presence was affecting him in unsettling ways. His health deteriorated, and he started experiencing strange, vivid nightmares. One night, as Thara lay in bed, unable to sleep, he heard a knock on the door. Opening it, he found an old woman standing there, her eyes filled with concern. She introduced herself as Zwali, a local shaman who had sensed a disturbance in the spiritual realm. Zwali warned Thara that Dini's spirit was not at peace and that their continued interaction was dangerous. She explained that the love they once shared had turned into an unhealthy obsession, trapping Dini's spirit in the mortal world. Thara, blinded by his love and desperate to keep Dini with him, refused to listen. He continued his nightly rendezvous with her, oblivious to the toll it was taking on his body and soul. The village noticed the change in Thara. He grew pale and gaunt, and his once joyful eyes became hollow and lifeless. Whispers of a curse began to spread, and people started avoiding him, fearing the dark presence that seemed to follow him. One fateful night, as Thara met Dini in the forest, he felt an overwhelming sense of dread. Dini's once warm and loving eyes were now cold and distant. She reached out to him, her touch icy and lifeless. Thara tried to pull away, but her grip tightened, her nails digging into his flesh. "You promised to be with me forever," she hissed, her voice no longer the sweet melody he remembered. Terrified, Thara fled back to his house and locked the door, his heart pounding in his chest. He realized that Zwali had been right. This was no longer the Dini he loved, but a malevolent spirit fueled by an unquenchable thirst for his soul. Desperate for help, Thara sought out Zwali, who prepared a ritual to break the bond between Thara and Dini's spirit. The ritual required Thara to face his deepest fears and let go of his love for Dini. It was a painful and harrowing process, but Thera knew it was the only way to save himself. As the ritual progressed, the spirit of Dini appeared, her face twisted with rage and sorrow. "You can't leave me," she screamed, her voice echoing through the night. With tears streaming down his face, Thera spoke to Dini's spirit. "I love you, Dini, but this is not the way. You need to move on, and so do I." As he uttered these words, the bond between them began to break. Dini's spirit screamed and writhed, the darkness surrounding her dissipating into the night. Finally, Dini's spirit let out a final, sorrowful wail before vanishing into the ether. Exhausted and emotionally drained, Thera collapsed to the ground. Zwali helped him back to his house, offering him words of comfort and wisdom. "Love is powerful, Thera, but it should never turn into an obsession. You must learn to let go and cherish the memories, not let them consume you." In the weeks that followed, Thera slowly regained his strength. The nightmares ceased, and he began to find peace within himself. He returned to his music, using it as a means to heal and honor Dini's memory. The village, seeing his recovery, welcomed him back, their fear replaced with understanding and empathy. Thera's love for Dini remained, but it was now a source of inspiration rather than torment. He composed a hauntingly beautiful song in her memory, a melody that spoke of love, loss, and the bittersweet nature of human emotions. And as he played his guitar under the same moonlit sky where he once saw Dini's spirit, he knew she was finally at peace, watching over him from the world beyond.